Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are going to be comparing, as you can see, these two high-end Grail trainers. The Serif versus the Cygnus. Right, the LDY Cygnus and the MachineWise Serif. Kind of these two battle songs, which I would say are probably most newer peoples to the hobby's Grails, or even people who have been in the hobby a while. I'd say most people will have these two knives as their Grails, or at least, they'll have thought about having them as Grails, right? And honestly, normally I wouldn't compare these two, but price-wise, they aren't too different. I'd say, they're made of the same materials, right? Excuse me. Yeah, they're made of the same materials, so I just find, why not just do a little comparison? Oops, Serif kind of went flying into some plastic. But yeah, in terms of materials, they are both, some sort of stainless for the blade. I'm not sure what it is exactly for the blades of these, but I know that the lives obviously will be S35VN. And then you have grade 5 titanium, sandwich construction for the Serif, with some beautiful milling. It's a holeless design. And then you have G10 and obviously again grade 5 titanium sandwich construction for the Cygnus. And I mean the G10 is beautiful. Both of them will have hardened stainless screws. Absolutely. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me today. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Just construction from both of these. Very, very good quality materials. With some really, really pretty milling. I mean, look at that. Alright. I mean, do I even need to talk about how pretty the Serif is? Like, dude. The way the Serif bounces off light is like nothing else, man. Yeah, before we, keep going, like and sub to the channel, share the video, it's much appreciated, especially those likes. They kind of get the channel recommended. Sorry for the late upload today, and sorry that I missed Tuesday's upload. I've just been swarmed, so, but yeah, we will have a video on Sunday, and at the moment I'm planning on it being one of these. And good news, guys, we should be having a Armshark Tsunami at some point on the channel. We should be one of the first people on YouTube to be getting one. I think I'm able to work a deal to get out to at least get something in order to get at least one, maybe both, maybe the DLC and the standard polished version. However, I have heard that the first batch of DLCs, which you are able to buy at the moment, have some minor defects. So I would personally say, wait till second, third, fourth batch before getting the all black coating. And I mean, the all black does look super menacing, but there's just something classic about the the standard polished one. And also there is going to be a stonewash also coming, right? So if you want extra grip, the stonewash will have just the standard grey screws, right? But yeah, that's just super cool. Just thought I'd let you guys know, a little update on the Tsunami. But yeah, anyways, getting on to these, obviously we have sandwich and we have sandwich construction. Sandwich is typically clowned upon for being the worst of both worlds, where you get a I can't remember what it was. You get something that you get the downside of sandwich, but you don't get the upside of like hole pattern here. But it's also not quite channel, and so it's just a faff, right? Typically, it affects slightly more budget sandwich battle songs, and definitely the Serif doesn't suffer from those issues, especially considering sandwich sounds like that, right? And versus sandwich sounds like. However, this is a pretty quiet battle song, which I like. I like that it's quiet. When it comes to flipping, they are, well, this has adjustable weights, this doesn't. So that's one thing that you could really say, but like by default, this is like fairly neutral. And then this with no weights in is also fairly neutral. However, this is also longer, as I should be able to show you here. Yeah, so if we line them up by the bases here, you can see the handles are very slightly longer, and then the blade is also, maybe a centimetre longer on the Serif, and so the balance will be slightly affected by that as well. Grip-wise, the Cygnus definitely does take it for grip. The G10, honestly, this is probably the grippiest bow song I've ever flipped. It's low-key grippier than the actual like replicant and the Arm Shark replicant, just because the titanium just really helps there, to the point where it was actually too grippy for a while, to the point where it would like tear apart my hands slightly if you flipped it for too long. Whereas I would say the Serif, it's not that it's slippery, but you know, it's not the grippiest thing in the world. It's like a really nice balance. I have no qualms with the grippiness of it. Sometimes maybe if your hands aren't like... No, maybe if your hands are too dry or too wet, right? I guess that's the best way to do it. It can be a little bit slippery. But I feel like that's with most ballad songs that don't have G10, so... And even with G10, if your hands are too dry, it can just be either like uncomfortably grippy or also slippery. And I'm just going to open my window because it's absolutely baking in here. And yeah, so you already know the sound test, right? Very slight ring. I do quite like that little ring, and also on the Serif. There's also a slight ring, and that's just from the holes in the trainer blades. I have no issues with them. It's also a bit difficult for me to talk, so I apologise for like if I'm speaking a bit weirdly today. Toothache is back, so that's really fun. But yeah, I'm obviously, personally, I think the Serif has a much better sound. Than the Cygnus, but I prefer the ring here. I prefer the handle sound here, but the ring of this blade. I wish you could swap these two blades over, but unfortunately the closed gap I believe is actually more or less fine, but the open gap is like that or something ridiculous if you put the Cygnus blade on here. But it would look super cool, right? To have like a, I don't even know what type of knife blade this is, right? It's the feather blade, right? The feather trainer. That's what LDY calls it. But yeah, no, flipping wise, they're both really fun. This is a little bit chunkier in the hands, and this is quite a slender and very soft feeling. This feels a little more rigid, but still has that nice luxury soft feel that I really can't explain other than from high-end titanium, like well-made titanium products, I should say. This obviously, you know, tuning is a bit of a nightmare on this guy. I would say if you want to keep it in trainer form, do put the work in to sand down these spare pair of bushings to get them to the right tuning. It's just going to make your life, you know, easier, per se. Whereas this guy, I mean, this guy's pretty perfect on tuning. I mean, no rattle. Check out my little review on the trainer of this guy, and you'll see why it's maracas. You can get this to the point where it isn't, but for the sake of this, I'm probably going to revert this back to the live blade after this. Same thing with this guy here. Just because my tolerances are like great now with the live blade. And I prefer the balance of this, but I prefer how the live blade flips. But that's for a story for a different day, right? But yeah, I think price-wise, would I say that this is worth how much more one of these is than this? No, if you're looking for, like, what do you get in the bag? But yes, if you just want something that, like, you could beat this, and you would have no issues. It would still be as reliable as the day you got it, right? It'll basically have, you know, maybe within 5-10% of the same tolerances as well as you got it. You could beat this, and I mean, you're going to be tuning it all the time, right? So personally, if I were to have something that is like my main everyday flipper, I would go for this. But if you need a quiet environment, you know, that's a better choice for you, because, you know, this being the quieter flipper, I also feel like the bounce with this kind of travels into your hand a bit better. It feels like the bounces are heavier, whereas this not so much. Then again, I don't have the heavy weights in. With the heavy weights, dude, this is like king of bounce, especially when you get that sound test, right? That, you know, this thing, the ice pick. That sounds so much better with the weights in the end. Ease of assembly, this guy takes the cake. Honestly, Sandwich Ballies are probably the easiest to construct. So I cannot wait to compare this with the Arm Shark thing, just in terms of Sandwich from different makers. Because I've never had another Sandwich knife. Maybe if I can get a short swordfish as well, you can do something there. But the swordfish I hear is like a bit fiddly to take apart. It's not really designed to be taken apart. But no, I do really like the Cygnus. I think it's a phenomenal knife. And you know, if I could only buy one of these, value for money, this is better because obviously you get the whole box and all the other stuff that comes in the box, right? Live plate, if you get the 3 blades one, you can get that, and you get like the pouch, which is really nice, which is actually what I keep this in now. But in terms of which is the better, it's very subjective value. In my opinion, this, I like the adjustable weights. I like the fact that now you can just order a blade off of MachineWise, whereas I don't think you can with LDY. And so you could basically change this into whatever you'd like, which I just think is absolutely phenomenal. To the point where I'm genuinely even just contemplating just getting a set of handles. Because they would be super awesome. Pricey, but super awesome. So that's something I'm really considering doing. But yeah, these are probably, you know, the peak of bow songs at the moment. And, you know, I'm very excited as to where Ballet Songs go from here, because not only does the real stuff, you know, this is in a league of its own, but like the clone stuff is also getting pretty good. I don't have any clones on me to show you. In fact, my only clone is with clone support. My Armshark replicant. Go check that video out from his unboxing of it. And so yeah, I mean there's not much else really to say here. I mean, they're two very different knives. They feel different in the hand. This being longer, I like the length. It's got a nice balance to it. This, you know, you can definitely feel the handles are heavier than the blade, but it also has a really satisfying balance to it. This is like Kraken length, obviously. MachineWise products are all a bit long. I think they're all like 10.5 inches or whatever, or 10 inches long, open. Whatever that is in centimeters, I don't know. That's gonna be what, 20, this is like 26.4, and this will be 25.6, maybe? Something like that. Somewhere around that. 25.4 and 26.5. I don't know. Somewhere in that, right? 25, 26 centimeter region. And so, yeah, that's where I would put it at that. I'm not going to really cover tolerances on here, but I mean, there's your play there. There's the play here. Although this blade wasn't obviously made for the Serif. So I imagine if you do get a Serif trainer, you will actually have better tolerances. And sorry for a bit of waffling this video. I need to definitely get back into the rhythm of videos again. But also, it's been a bit difficult because there's not been much happening. So I also just don't have tons and tons of content that I can give you guys. So I'm going to have to definitely become a little more creative with what videos I'm putting out. I'm going to see if I can get the one Tsunami even on loan, or if I can just have one sent out to me, because I really miss that knife and I regret selling it. So maybe if someone wants to donate theirs to the channel, that would be very much appreciated. But no, I'm going to see if I can maybe get a review copy or something. But yeah, that's kind of the basis of it. Anodize wise, you can get some very pretty patterns for this, arguably prettier than what you can get for this. But this now you can get kind of custom. You can get laser engravings on the sides. You can get some very cool stuff with the MachineWise lineup now. And so honestly, I think just put your money where you think it's going to be the best used, if that's the best kind of thing, right? Obviously the shipping from this, well, I'm not actually going to say it. This ships from the States, this ships from China. You can get these basically anywhere in the world. You can get this anywhere in the world. They do worldwide shipping. This guy, as the trainer, yes, you can also get it anywhere in the world. So honestly, just whichever you prefer the look of and the sound of is really all that's important here. Because balance-wise, I think they're both different, but it's not so, like, but they both feel high-end. I don't know how to describe it. They are very different flippers, but they're both very competent flippers. And so I can't really say, oh, this balance is so much better than the other one. I think if I had the one Tsunami to compare, I would really love that as like a third, you know, peak of clones versus peak of originals kind of comparison. And I think that would be a very cool video to make. But sadly, I do not have the facilities to do that yet. But yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Check out the links in the description and check out the music. Let me know if you guys want merch, if you've made it to the end of the video here. You know, we are very close to being able to have members for the channel, which I think is also pretty cool. And eventually, once we hit 1,000 and 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours, you know, we're going to be able to monetize the channel, and then I can hopefully actually be you know, getting some more frequent valleys, you know, like the Nautilus, the Orion that some people want to see. I see all you guys' comments that you want me to try out, like, you know, the one Orca. There's so many things I also want to try out. It's just not quite feasible as of just yet. You know, this year is much more intense than, I say this year, this academic year, starting September, has been much more intense so far than, you know, when I started. And so, you know, I'm just going to have to see what I can do. But enough with the excuses. I'll catch you guys in the next video on Sunday.